is 2027 and the country is Britain, or what remains of it after the Norse Fire Party took over. The new regime had changed everything about the country and its people, turning it into a dystopian nightmare where everyone's lives are controlled by the state. And leading the charge against the regime is a mysterious freedom fighter who goes by the name of V. But who exactly is this man? That's what we'll find out in today's video. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. In the bleak future of 2027 Britain, hope seems like a distant memory. The once great nation has been reduced to a shadow of its former self, a puppet state ruled by the iron fist of the Norse Fire Party. The citizens, their spirits broken, trudge through life under the watchful gaze of Big Brother, their every move monitored, their every word scrutinized. It's in this dark and oppressive world that our story begins. Evie Hammond is a young woman who works for the state-run British television network. Her days are filled with the mundane tasks of censorship, ensuring that every broadcast adheres to the strict guidelines set forth by the Norse Fire Party. But beneath her seemingly docile exterior, a flicker of rebellion burns. Evie is a free spirit, a dreamer who yearns for a world where she can think freely and express herself without fear of reprisal. Then fate intervenes. She crosses paths with a mysterious man who calls himself V. This chance encounter sets in motion a series of events that will shatter Evie's world and thrust her into the heart of the resistance against the Norse Fire regime. When Evie accidentally insults a homeless man outside of Parliament, he follows her home and warns her to stay away from him. Later, when she is being followed home by two government goons, he steps in and saves her. When she inquires as to why he saved her, V tells her that they wouldn't have killed her because the government would want her alive. He says that there's no point in living in this shitty world unless you live with passion. After beating up the goons, V brings Evie to his secret underground lair, telling her she must stay there for at least a year so the government won't be looking for her. Even though she's scared, she agrees. Meanwhile, a cat-and-mouse chase ensues between V and Inspector Eric Finch of the Department of Public Order, the man tasked with catching V. As time passes, Evie grows closer to him, learning about his mysterious past and his unwavering dedication to the cause. But their idyllic life in the underground lair is shattered when Lewis, one of V's former comrades, shows up seeking refuge from the authorities. Unfortunately for Lewis, V refuses to let him in, stating that their sanctuary is not a safe house. Lewis doesn't believe this and argues with V before making a run for it. But in the struggle that ensues, Lewis is shot and killed by V. As the weight of V's action sinks in, Evie confronts him, demanding an explanation. V reveals that Lewis was once a close friend of his, but turned traitor, betraying their trust and providing information to the government that led to the deaths of several freedom fighters. He also explains that the reason he saved Evie's life was because he saw something special in her, a spark of rebellion that he believed could be nurtured into something powerful. In the aftermath of Lewis's death, Evie and V's relationship deepens. They grow closer, sharing their hopes, dreams, and fears for the future of Britain. But their newfound intimacy is overshadowed by the looming threat of discovery. Evie, torn between her loyalty to V and her fear of the Norse Fire regime, struggles with her feelings. Meanwhile, Inspector Finch, relentless in his pursuit of V, closes in on the secret lair, determined to bring the elusive freedom fighter to justice. As the danger of discovery looms, Evie is forced to confront her feelings for V. Torn between her loyalty to the enigmatic freedom fighter and her fear of the Norse Fire regime, she makes a pivotal decision that will shape the course of the story. Will she embrace her role in the resistance, or will she succumb to the pressures of the dystopian world only time will tell? One day, Evie discovers a hidden passageway in V's lair that leads to an old subway tunnel. Intrigued, she explores the tunnel and finds an old television set still broadcasting it. This discovery rekindles Evie's hope for a better Britain and strengthens her resolve to fight against the oppressive regime. Meanwhile, Inspector Finch, hot on V's trail, closes in on the secret lair. With each passing moment, the danger of discovery increases, forcing Evie and V to take evasive action. As the authorities close in, Evie and V are forced to flee their sanctuary and go on the run. With the help of a few loyal allies, they manage to evade capture, but they know that they cannot stay in hiding forever. Driven by a sense of purpose and a growing determination to fight back against the Northfire regime, Evie decides to take a stand. Inspired by V's bravery and the ideals he stands for, Evie embraces her role as a potential leader of the resistance movement. She realizes that the fight for freedom cannot be won by one person alone, and that it will take a collective effort to overthrow the oppressive regime. But it's not just about fighting for a better future for Evie. It's also about honoring the sacrifices made by those who came before her. She remembers the words of the old freedom fighter Valerie, who spoke to her through the radio broadcast, and recognizes that the struggle for liberty is a continuous one that requires the courage and sacrifice of ordinary people. As the story progresses, we see Evie grow into her role as a leader. She rallies other disillusioned citizens to join the cause, forming a network of resistance fighters who work together to undermine the Northfire regime through acts of sabotage, protest, and quiet acts of defiance. Evie and her fellow freedom fighters make it clear that they will not be but the Northfire regime is not one to be trifled with. As the stakes rise, the oppression and brutality of the regime become more evident. Citizens are arrested, tortured, and disappeared at the hands of the ruthless government forces, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Despite the danger, Evie's resolve only grows stronger. She finds comfort and strength in the love and support of those around her, including V, who continues to be a guiding light in the darkness, offering wisdom, support, and encouragement when it's needed the most. Together, they form a powerful alliance, leading the charge against the regime with courage, determination, and an unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit. The climax of the story sees Evie and V leading a major uprising against the Northfire regime. The citizens of Britain, inspired by their courage, rise up in full force, demanding an end to the dictatorship and the restoration of their freedom. It's a thrilling and suspenseful showdown as the forces of oppression are confronted by the growing army of freedom fighters. Throughout the struggle, Evie displays remarkable leadership skills. She inspires hope and unity among the disparate groups of rebels, uniting them under a common cause and giving voice to their collective desire for change. Her courage in the face of adversity is truly inspiring, serving as a beacon for those who have lost faith in humanity. As the final battle rages, Evie and V's love for each other deepens. They realize that their connection is more than just romantic, but a bond of shared values, beliefs, and a common purpose. Their love story becomes a symbol of hope in a world consumed by darkness, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, love and hope can prevail. In the end, the uprising against the Northfire regime is successful. The oppressive regime is overthrown, and the people of Britain are able to reclaim their freedoms. However, the victory comes at a cost. Many lives are lost, and the scars of oppression run deep. In the aftermath, Evie and V emerge as heroes, their names whispered with reverence and admiration throughout the land. They have played a pivotal role in bringing down the regime and restoring hope to a nation. But they also understand that the fight for freedom is never truly over. It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to justice and equality. As the story draws to a close, we see Evie and V working together to rebuild Britain. They are committed to creating a better future for the nation, one that is built on the principles of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. They know that the road ahead will be long and challenging, but they are up to the task. And so, with a sense of hope and determination, Evie and V set about their work, knowing that they have the support of the people and the legacy of those who fought and died for the cause. They understand that true freedom is not just the absence of oppression, but the presence of justice, equality, and opportunity for a... And they are dedicated to creating a world where that is a reality.